Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, John the House Guy, here with my lovely co-host,
Kim the Homegirl.
And this is the House Guy and Homegirl podcast, where every week we try to bring you relevant information about home building and real estate. So this week's show is really, really fun. We're going to be talking about 5 reasons you should move to our favorite place in the world, Northwest Alabama.
The Shoals.
Yeah. Got it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Stop that.
You're listening to the House Guy and Homegirl podcast, a podcast about real estate and real life. As realtors, home builders, and real estate investors, John and Kim keep it real. Former teachers turned real estate professionals, they have a heart for helping others. Join them each week as they discuss all things home. And now, here's your hosts, John and Kim.
All right, guys, well, let's get the show started. Kim, give us an update on all the things that's been going on in your world this week.
Oh, this week, I don't really know.
Let's start with the obvious, right?
Oh, yeah, the obvious. I got some hardware, but that was last week. Yeah, so, broke my back, fractured my vertebrae, and so I get some hardware. But this, it looks a little strange, but it feels really good, though. Just bumping coasting through summer. I mean, it's pretty much, we're heading into the last week of summer, and that really stinks.
Yeah.
But a week from today, everybody's back in school, so that kind of stinks. But it is what it is, and I hate that saying, but there's truth to that. So anyways, they have to say goodbye to summer. I finally made it to the pool with Nora.
Yeah, right. Like last minute. It's dog days of summer. And
dog days of summer. I know. We had a great time.
Emmett's truck, old red, finally bit the dust. 20-year-old vehicle.
Yes, Emmett's truck passed on.
Yeah.
Transmission is done. Everything's done. So now we're in a scramble to get them a new truck. And that, y'all, when you have children and they're driving age, like, to have a good vehicle and, like, y'all know how hard it is to find a good vehicle.
Yeah.
And so we're, real estate agents. We can get out there and find y'all a house. Yeah. But to find a vehicle,
that's a totally different market.
That is, we have been to a couple of different states.
Yeah. And we're picky too, though.
We are picky.
That's part of it, But we're hunting that. We've been in the middle
so
of that.
That's encompassed most of our week.
He's had band camp for 2 weeks. He's been out there sweating in the dog day heat, and so it's just been a busy time for us, just like everybody else.
We just celebrated our 19th year.
19th anniversary. That's right. Yeah. Not 20, as you said in a previous show, but 19.
19, yeah. Yeah, you totally forgot about that. Like, there's 52 weeks in a year, and that's anyway. So, we just celebrated, our 19th anniversary this past week. It's pretty important. Anyways, and then we are just, chipping away at the new build back there. We got a shower going, and
brick is almost finished.
Yeah, the brick is beautiful, y'all. I mean, seriously, you need to come back here and check it out, because that brick is gorgeous.
Yeah, and so you're wondering, why would I want to buy that house, right? Because it's located
in the Shoals.
In the Shoals, that's right.
Yes.
And so we want to talk a little bit about this area that we love so much. We have lived here our entire lives, with the exception of 4 years that we lived in a town about an hour from here.
Great town, too.
Absolutely great town, too. And still would be considered, I guess, Northwest Alabama.
Right. Yeah, so let's just, Northwest Alabama, so we're, anywhere, I think, in Northwest Alabama would be a great place to live.
Absolutely.
And so, that's considering the Shoals, Coleman, Huntsville, which Huntsville was named one of the top cities to live in. And I just looked it up, and it's actually number 2 out of all the cities in the U.S. to live.
Which is about an hour from here.
About an hour from here.
That's where we're headed today, to look at some vehicles, as a matter of fact. So.
A lot of people... But here's the really cool thing about the Shoals. Huntsville, they've got a little more to offer. They've got trash pandas and a little more shopping venues and things like that. And they've got more entertainment, more parking, more, it's just a bigger city.
It's just a bigger city, yeah.
But then you've got the Shoals. That's really cool. Like, we have the Swampers,
absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah.
But
as Leonard Skinner once said, Muscle Shoals has got the Swampers.
Right. But the Shoals is a really cool place to live. I mean, you've got those close-knit relationships with people. We still have like cool entertainment venues. Anyways, let's just go ahead and get into it.
It's everything you need in a small town setting, right?
Right.
And then if you know, and you're within, a lot of people, they drive, they commute an hour to work. You know what I mean? Like
and live here.
Yeah. Or I'm talking about big cities like Atlanta or Nashville. Those,
I gotcha.
So we're an hour from Huntsville, and basically you can get it here, you can get it there. But I mean, a lot of people commute that far every day, and people who in our town, they get that small town feel, and if they want to work or live in Huntsville or Decatur, it's still very close.
So if somebody's listening to this podcast and they're like, the Shoals, that's not on the map. What is the Shoals? So the Shoals encompasses Florence, Muscle Shoals, Sheffield, Tuscumbia.
Yeah, for the Quad Cities,
the
right?
Quad Cities, right. I don't know, Rogersville, is that in the Shoals?
Well, I would consider it to be.
Yeah, in the area. So if you are
Lauderdale
looking,
and Colbert County, that's pretty much.
And that's pretty much like where we sell homes as well,
right.
Is the Shoals. You're and a lot of people, if you do live in the Shoals, you'll hear people around here say something about the river. And so that's our first topic, is the Shoals and how it encompasses natural beauty and outdoor activities.
Oh, yeah. One of the most common things people say over here is the other side of the river.
The other side of the river. You got to go across
the other side of the river. That's on the other side of the river.
Right. I had to cross that river today.
Yeah.
And even my children, y'all, Nora, who just turned 9, she's like, I don't want to cross the river. And I'm like, what are you talking about, crossing the river? Yeah. So
that is the county line between Colbert County and Lauderdale County.
Right.
Right. From Muscle Shoals to Florence. 2 bridges here, and of course Wilson Dam, right? So,
and I'm from that side of the river,
the Lauderdale County side,
and you're from this side of the river,
the good side.
Yeah, I so like it really like I do a lot of my shopping in Florence on that side of the river, just because that's familiar to me, and I prefer that side. That side of the river is a little bigger population wise, but it's all. It's all the Shoals area. But let's talk a little bit about the Tennessee River real quick. Like that.
Yeah, that's the river we're crossing, right?
Right.
And the wonderful thing about the Tennessee River is going to Florence or crossing the river, as we say, you almost get immune or take advantage of or
numb, I guess.
Yeah, you forget it. Like,
right.
This is a beautiful river you cross every time you
every
go
day.
we go to church, right? Like anytime we go to church, you cross the river, and it's like. You almost like, I'm just crossing the bridge, but it is a beautiful place. We've got beautiful state parks, beautiful lush environment on the river there.
Right, it's not just the bridge. Like there's so many different things around the river. There's walking trails and parks and
great fishing and boat ramps and all that good.
Like all those things, and hiking and just like places where you can just park and look at the river. McFarland Bottoms there. Mm-hmm. Like you can go down there, and there's even a place where like they've made this little, I don't know, you can get into the river, little beach area. And there's also within the Tennessee River, there's different places throughout the Shoals area that you can access the river. And so there's just different places where you can just see the God's beautiful handiwork.
So the TVA, right, the Tennessee Valley Authority, built the dam system, which created lakes and gave us beautiful calm waters here. And you got Pickwick Lake, Wilson Lake, whichever side of the dam you're on. Great boating, fishing, leisure, recreation activities, and just wonderful, beautiful natural landscape.
Yeah, just this year, this summer actually, I took Nora and she swam in that little beach area at McFarland. And I had never been in that, I'd never got in the water there. But now I grew up, we got in the water at a different place down by the Natchez Trace, which is another beautiful scenic parkway, as far as driving and scenery and things like that. But so I grew up going to a little beach area down there, but Nora loved that little area. So just a really cool, like the Shoals is, like you said, just lush and beautiful. And it's almost like, you get here and you can breathe in a good fresh breath of fresh air, you know, because it is so lush and green. And, you know, you have that land in New Bethel, and, you know, it's mountainous as you go.
Right, because you may be, and that feels so far out. It's literally 10 minutes from Walmart.
Right.
It's not far at all.
So if you want to live like, you know, there's country and then there's city in the Shoals, and that's the beauty of all of it, surrounded by this beautiful river.
And you're probably thinking, okay, well, you got all this beautiful land, you got amenities, you got proximity, you got friendly neighbors, you got all this great stuff. Probably going to be out of my budget, right? I'm not going to be able to afford that.
Right.
And
Da-da-da-da.
that's not the case.
That's not the case.
Yeah, I mean,
that is not the case.
You can find. I've actually been looking for some folks waterfront property, right?
So then you've got that, yeah. So, you know, leading into that, you can also live on the water.
You can live on the water, absolutely. And I've been looking for that, and you think, you know, if anybody says nationally waterfront property, you're thinking, man, that's got to be north of $1 million. It's going to be super high. You can get on the waterfront here for probably in the mid threes, starting out. Now it might be a 2-bedroom, might be a little cottage, but
you might have some work to do now.
But I mean, you can get livable, great in the 4s,
right?
In the 400s. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like
access to the water.
On the water.
Well, you and I, when we first got married, you know, we rented that house. Yes, we did. We rented a house when we first got married. We lived there for right at a year and then bought our first home. But we rented a house on the water.
On the waterfront.
Yeah, we had access to like a little slough area or whatever. And, I mean, it was reasonable, and it was a cool place.
First of all, that's been 20 years ago. But the rent there was $750. If you remember,
well, in the grand scheme of things, I guess that's a little much as far as like what we could afford.
Back then, yeah, but I mean, I'd pay it now.
Oh yeah,
to live on the water for $750.
But not just living on the water in general, like the Shoals compared to national pricing, it's very affordable here.
Oh right, and we've seen a lot of like out of state folks have discovered that. Right, they've discovered the natural beauty. They've discovered the affordable cost of living, and we didn't even talk about that. But the cost of living here is very low.
Right.
You know, we have low property taxes. We have low cost of living as far as buying goods and services and stuff like that because the housing is low.
Right.
And it's not.
And then some of you may disagree, but that is true. That is true. Like go to a bigger city anywhere else, and, you know, you go out and that same, even like, you know, chain fast food places, you know, that same combo meal that you would buy is probably a good $2 to $3 more.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just a larger, higher cost of living, right? So we have I think in the Shoals we have the best of both worlds, right? We have the natural beauty, we have convenience. You know, we're 2 hours from Birmingham, we're an hour from Huntsville, and the cost of living is about as low as you're going to find in the United States, I would say.
Right.
Now,
right. The schools and all that.
The schools are great. Right?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, the local schools here, the school systems are all top notch, and because it's a small town, you don't have a lot of that. What do you call it? Competition, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because the guy that worked here, as the principal here, he may wind up across the river next year and be over there. You know, so it's a lot of everybody knows
coaches
everybody. everybody knows everybody. So
everybody's kin somehow.
Yeah. Kin means related.
Yeah.
People don't know that, I don't think, do they?
Kin, yeah.
Isn't that country to say that?
K-I-N, yeah.
Well, I guess next of kin, right? People are kin to each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just sounds country.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Now, this week is not the best example of the next point, right? Mild climate, comfortable living.
Yeah, so
right?
the third point for reasons to move to the Shoals area, mild climate and comfortable living. I mean, but, it's
100 degrees outside.
It's 100 degrees, and it's hot.
And it's muggy.
And yes,
you got to be honest. You got to be honest. It's hot. It's miserable right now. It's that July and August are tough.
They are tough.
Tough.
In Alabama, but I don't know that.
But you trade it for January, February, which are not tough at all.
Right.
You can wear shorts sometimes in January, February.
I think the deal breaker is the humidity.
The humidity is
That's,
tough.
Sometimes, which I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't really, of course I can't be outside a whole lot, lifting, but some days in Alabama you go through like a 3-shower day is what we call it.
Right, yeah.
And I haven't really got there, but then again, I'm not outside either. Emmett has been outside sweating and working, and I know that he's taken at least 2, sometimes 3 shower, and because you're just so hot and you're just sweating all the time, and it's just the humidity in Alabama. But we've always lived here, so like our bodies are kind of used to it. At the same time. But I don't think I would want to live out west either. Where
they say it's a dry heat out there and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's just that. Just to be honest about it, the summers here are hot.
They are hot, but they're not.
But now this year we've had an unseasonably cool summer, to be honest.
Right. They're not crazy though. But our weather is a little, you never know what you're going to get. But regardless, it's still mild in the grand scheme of the U.S. cities.
And I am 43 years old, and I have never had to shovel a sidewalk of snow, ever. So that's what you get. If you come here,
right,
you're not going to have that.
Yeah, our preacher said, he made a funny remark this past Sunday. He said, I guess God, what did he say about that? Something about he likes Southerners a little more because they never have had to shovel.
He's never going back. Yeah.
He's never going back, but they never have to shovel snow.
Off the sidewalk.
Off the sidewalk.
And walks.
Right. I was like, oh, yeah, never have.
I've never shoveled. I mean, the only time I've ever shoveled any snow would be if I'm building a snowman or something. If it's literally in my whole life, we've had probably less than 10 good snowman snows.
Right. About every 10 years, we get a really big snow here. Yeah. So, if you do like a lot of snow, you're coming to the wrong place. Yeah. But the winters are mild. Just in general, like the climate is pretty pleasant. I mean, in general, we usually stay somewhere between 65.
Yeah, I mean,
75.
Cold in the winter is in the 40s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we do everybody gets a cold snap every now and then, but I mean, for the most part,
yeah,
our winters are in the 40s.
And it's, I mean, I you can grow things here. We don't have a lot of super cold, we
don't have a frost line or anything. I mean, like, you don't have to deal with a lot of
we
that.
went to Colorado, and like the cold there, like it's just a different cold,
It's bitter.
It's bitter cold. It's like a windy, I don't know, it's weird, but we don't have that here. So if you are looking for that mild climate, come to the Shoals. All right, moving on. This is probably your favorite reason to move to the Shoals.
Absolutely.
But music and cultural heritage of the Shoals.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said earlier in the show, Muscle Shoals has got the Swampers, right? The song Sweet Home Alabama. You've got all the guys that recorded on that, the original Leonard Skinner stuff, the Rolling Stones.
Wait a second. They all recorded where?
Here in Muscle Shoals.
In Muscle Shoals.
Yeah. So Muscle Shoals has got the Swampers, is about a band, the Swampers, who are all from here, right? Musicians. And they, Fame Recording Studios was here in Muscle Shoals, founded here. Aretha Franklin got her big break here, or found her voice here, so to speak. The guys
people still come to record here.
Lana Del Rey was here last week,
right,
recording and working at our Waffle House,
right.
Like, that's serious, So it's really a cool thing because it started out, back then people would come here, they didn't have social media, so they would come here to kind of be under the radar, like if they, nobody really knew they were here, nobody knew.
Right, and it's still kind of like that in a sense.
It is, but I mean now, if Lana Del Rey's at Riccatoni, they're taking a picture and everybody knows in 10 minutes.
It's blowed up.
It's different, but the Rolling Stones recorded here. Paul Simon recorded here. Jimmy Buffett recorded here.
Yeah, so there's a recording studio called Fame, and it's smack dab in Muscle Shoals, and it's just a little building here.
It's behind the CVS.
Right, it's behind the CVS. So we've got Fame Recording Studios, and
then Muscle Shoals Sound was the there's a whole documentary about it. It's called Muscle Shoals, and if you haven't seen it,
it's really good.
You should watch it because I absolutely love it.
And John used to be a music teacher, so like he knows all about
This past week.
Oh, that's right.
Is the W.C. Handy Music Festival.
Right.
W.C. Handy was born in Florence, Alabama, father of the blues. So we've
played trumpet.
Had a lot of jazz musicians in town this week playing. So, it's really, really. This place is a cool place. Culturally, we had the birthplace of Helen Keller.
Right.
Is in Tuscumbia. So I mean, that's one of the things to me that people just like. You could look over this spot on a map and go, nothing significant is happening there. But
Otis Redding.
I mean, if you look back in the history of like I said, the music recording industry, Helen Keller, W.C. Handy. I mean, like, there's just so much that's
It's
really
just rich in culture.
Yeah, it's so
Yep,
cool
and
to be
music,
like,
yeah.
I'm from there.
I'm from there. Right,
You know?
right.
I mean,
yeah.
that's a really cool thing. I'd tell you a funny story about W.C. Handy. So, like, when I was in college, I marched with the Drum and Bugle Corps, and we went to the House of Blues in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right? And so the father of the blues is W.C. Handy. So I'm like, cool, you know, they have these busts on the wall, you know, little things that are like for music, you know, like for you to look at. Well, you find the one that says W.C. Handy in the House of Blues in Chicago, and it says Florence, Tennessee on it. I was like, that's not even right. He's the father of the blues. How do you mess that up? But anyway, so we told the bartender, and I'm sure they got that resolved.
I don't remember that story. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. And
So
like,
anyway, yeah, you can tell I love
yes.
the cultural and musical heritage of this place because
it's
just
so laid back and it's
unlike
just
anywhere
rich
else.
and you could just spend days upon days. And you know, we have the W.C. Handy Music Festival every year. We have not only like music, we have a rich art.
Oh yeah,
culture,
all that. I mean,
it's
it's definitely a cool place to be. There's a lot of, you know, every week the Florence has First Fridays.
First Friday, I forgot about that.
And
yeah.
art people, artists are displaying their works.
Right.
And
it's just a really neat place. There's
is.
a lot of really talented people today that are still here, and musicians that come out of Florence today that are still playing today. I mean, it's just a cool place, y'all. Which brings us into our next segment: small town charm and community. And so you still have that here in the Shoals. You know, it's like John was saying earlier. You know, everybody knows everybody. That's kind of true. You know, in a sense. I mean, it's just that atmosphere. It's just so friendly, and it's like, you know, I remember going to. Oh gosh, it's been a minute. We were flying. I don't remember. Let's say we were in a bigger city, and I'm that country like, hey y'all, you know, like I talk to everybody when we travel and things like that. And I remember talking to somebody, or I can't remember. Maybe I was New York. That's where it was. Yes. So we went to New York. It was so different. Like immediately when I got off the plane, went to the restroom, nobody makes eye contact. And like, it was just weird, you know, and like, you know, hey, how are you? And I had said that to the person, you know, that when I got out and I was washing my hands, I was like, oh, hey, how are you? Or something. Yes, I am that weird person, but I do. I like to be friendly and talk to everybody. And they didn't say anything. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but they never even made eye contact with me. And that was kind of the theme throughout, you know, like people kind of keep their head down and keep to themselves. And so immediately we fly into Nashville, go to the restroom, come out, and the lady that was standing there washing her hands was like, hey, how are you?
Right, yeah.
Like made eye contact, and I'm like, okay, whew, you know, like this is where I'm supposed to be. So like that's how it is around here. Like you go to the grocery store and you may not know that person or this person, but you're going to have a conversation with them.
Right.
You know, or ask them a question.
Well, because it's a small town, if you talk to somebody more than 5 minutes, you'll find the common thread, right?
Right.
Like you went to the same school.
Right.
You went to the same barber.
Your mama knows, you know.
You go to the same church. You bank at the same place. Somewhere you got a common thread with just about everybody.
Just because it's a small town and you get that, yeah.
So you got that community feel, but you still have all the amenities and all the things, the beauty, everything you need to have a great life. And that's what we enjoy here. That
intimate environment that's created here, you know, it just lends itself to those things, close-knit relationships with other people, you know. There's so many amenities throughout that, you know, it's just a cool place to live.
People that live here don't realize how spoiled they are. You know, a lot of times how wonderful it is.
Right.
They love it, you know, but it gives you some idea when you go away. Right. Like you said. And, you know, like you said, flying back into Nashville, you know, they call this place Nashville's Big Backyard. That was a promotion they were running not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because we're 2.5 hours from Nashville.
Right.
If we go to the airport, the Nashville airport.
Yeah, those people are still like, those are like my people. They're still, from the South or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of those people, those Nashville recording artists, are still coming here.
right.
Like I'll tell a story real quick and we'll wrap the show up. I told you this. So a couple weeks ago, I have a building that's listed over on Avalon, right? And a guy called me about it because it was next door to Wishbone Studios, right? And he's like, I'm going to call and check on this building. I was like, okay, da-da-da-da-da. And so we go through the whole spiel about here's the square footage and here's the location, here's the price. And I said, well, let me get your name and I'll send you some other options or whatever. He gives me his name and he only gives me his first name. And then I'm like, well, what's your last name? I want to put you in my phone. So he tells me, right? And I go online and I Google that guy's name because he said he was at the studio, right? I was like, well, he might be. This dude has a Grammy for recording engineering, right?
That's
like
awesome.
He's a Grammy award-winning recording engineer who's just called me because I had a sign up,
Right.
And I was like, that's Muscle Shoals for
That
you.
right.
Right? Like, that's it. That
Just
nothing sums
you
it up
never
more.
know. I mean, there's just like hidden little gems tucked away.
Absolutely. I mean, you may be at the Walmart checking out next to somebody who has a Grammy.
Right.
And you don't even know it.
Right.
The
girl that visited this week.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with her, but anyways.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah,
big,
Aerosmith.
Emmett is.
Emmett is, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Steven Tyler was at the Fame a year or two ago, and people were taking pictures and all that.
Right,
So.
just flew in. But yeah, the Shoals is just a great place to live. Talking real quick, we lived in Coleman, and I really liked that.
Yeah, that's a great town too.
Great town too. We didn't have family there, and that's some of why we moved back to the Shoals. But when we would stay gone, and we would stay in Coleman for a considerable amount of time, and then come back here, and so just see the river. I remember this one particular time. We had been gone for a minute, and then we came back, and then for whatever reason we were at the Marriott, the little play area down there. I guess we had brought Emmett down there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it was just so breathtakingly beautiful,
Right.
and I had forgot about that, and so you see it with fresh eyes again, and it's gorgeous, the whole atmosphere of the Shoals is just truly gorgeous.
It
so
really is.
anyways, but to summarize why you should move to the Shoals, the natural beauty and outdoor activities that you have,
The Tennessee River, man.
the Tennessee River, the affordability of the cost of living here, and just everyday expenses too. Of course you can buy a home, and that's why a lot of people are moving here. You can buy a home for much less here in the Shoals.
Yep, that's right.
Compared to the national average of homes. Number 3, the mild climate and comfortable living temperatures that we have here. For the most part, our weather is pretty stable. We don't, we do have tornadoes every now and then. We can talk about that. But anyways, for the most part, it's just real comfortable here. Number 4, the music and cultural heritage that we have.
Absolutely.
And then the last one, the small town charm and community feel that we have in the Shoals area is just wonderful.
Yeah, we're ambassadors for this area. We love it 100%. You can tell. I mean, it is a remarkable place to live, to raise children, to have a family. Just people are, they say it takes a village to raise a child. These people around here are going to help you. There's the kind of people that you want your kids to be around.
Right. Real quick, too. So we did live in Coleman. John was a band director there, and so he would always cheerlead for his band kids to come to UNA and go and be in their band and go to college there or whatever. And so if he found out that the kids wanted to go to college after they graduated, he would always make sure that UNA was an option. And he told them about it and told them about the UNA band and hearing that. But it's so funny because there are certain kids, there's several kids that you pushed this way that are still here today.
Oh yeah.
And they are so vested in the Shoals today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can think of 2 people right now that they fell in love with the Shoals, and that's where they've stayed. They didn't go back.
And that happens, we didn't even mention that, but we got University of North Alabama right here in our backyard.
That's right.
In Florence.
Yes.
And that happens to a lot of people.
Right.
A lot of people move here from other places. They come here and they fall in love with the Shoals. They go to UNA and they get their degree, and then they're like, yeah, I'm just going to stay here. They find a job because the job market is good here. It's just there's so many
great
benefits
place,
to
yes.
living here, working here, and being part of this community. So if you think that you're interested in this community, of course, give us a call. We would love to talk to you about it. We are just in love with where we live.
Yes, the Shoals is a wonderful place to raise children, to retire here, to, go to school here, all X, Y, and Z. But yeah, we'd love to talk to you about more things about the Shoals if you're interested. And it's just a great little place, little hidden gem.
Thank you guys so much for watching the show this week. We really appreciate the time that you spent here. If you have questions or comments about the Shoals area, be sure to drop them below. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
See y'all.
Thanks for listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, your #1 source for all things home. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our YouTube page for video content from the show.